Hi everyone, and welcome to Brunch with Bigfoot Michigan Rob, and I'm your host, BMR. And as always, I'm joined by the bearded one, Tex. If this is your first time here, please subscribe on YouTube to Tex's Front Porch. Give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, and don't forget to hit the alert bell. You can find us on Odysy Radio, iHeartRadio, and on Facebook at Texas Front Porch. You can also reach us by email at paracryptidencounters@gmail.com or by text at 972-559-0988. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube to Bigfoot Michigan Rob. If you enjoy our content and would like to support us, the Super Chat is always open, or you can Venmo us at @ at text 6717. Thank you and enjoy the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode or show of Big Brunch with Bigfoot Michigan Rob. And of course, I am your host, BMR. Got to take care of a little bit of business here. For those of you listening on Odyssey Radio and iHeartRadio, you're going to get the first hour. After that, you can pick us up on YouTube. Please subscribe to Texas Front Porch, where you can pick up the continuation of the show. And of course, on Texas Front Porch, we are on 4 days a week. On Monday at 6:30 Central, it's Texas Front Porch with Tex and Jason talking all things weird. Wednesday, 9 Central, Jason Mclean questions everything. And yes, Jason does question everything. Always an entertaining show. Thursdays, 12 noon, right here, BMR, Bigfoot Michigan Rob. We do a little brunch for you. And then Friday, our newest edition, and she's not so new anymore. She's been on a couple times. The lovely and talented Jessica Jones with Remote Viewing Investigations. You can see that Friday, Central Standard Time. And again, subscribe to Texas Front Porch, Brunch with Bigfoot Michigan Rob, which is actually just Bigfoot Michigan Rob. And of course, the Cryptid Huntress. Also, a quick note for all you traveling to Alabama, get down there. We have the Bigfoot conference going on June 10th and 11th. Tex, Jason, and myself will be speaking there for our very first speaking engagement. And our very own Jessica Jones might be paying a visit. And if she does, you have to bring the code BMRJJ-1. The east side of the soundstage, Jessica and I will be giving selfies and free autographs. So you've got to come down and check that out. And speaking of Jessica Jones, she is filling in for the bearded wonder Tex because he's moving today, Jessica.
Hey, I was going to say, I'm not the bearded one.
No, you're not the bearded. Did I surprise? Are you prepared for the autographs and the selfies? You know?
You got to remember that code, y'all. BMRJJ-1, right?
That's right. Yeah. Free selfies.
Free selfies.
Stage 1, southwest corner. Southwest corner.
They're going to be paying us to not take selfies with them, probably. So
no, Jessica, I tell you what, a picture of you and I together is going to capture thousands. I can.
Man, thousands. Yeah, we'll see. Well, maybe one day.
You know, our celebrity is growing. And speaking of celebrity, I tell you what, we got a guy out back. His name is Eric. A lot of you know him as Gypsy Road. He had to switch it. He can get in that later. He's the Paranormal Highway. Please subscribe to him as well. If anybody out there, any of our mods, drop his link as we go along throughout the show. And I'm going to bring him up right away. He's got a great show, and we're going to add him to the stream right now. There he is, Gypsy Road. Eric, Paranormal Highway. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, thank you guys for having me. My dog's attacking me. So when you guys see my hands go down here, it's because I got a dog that's just jumping on me.
Oh, sweet.
Man, I love your name, Jessica Jones. I love that name. One of my favorite shows on Netflix was Jessica Jones.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, superhero. I think the only superpower I have right now is being pixelated. So sorry, everybody. If my computer has if it's broadcasting a blurry picture, it's getting fixed later today. So y'all don't worry. Y'all hold tight. Okay, thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you look lovely as usual, Jessica. And I don't know about last night. We had a show last night where I had gremlins hit my computer. So the first 10 minutes, I do a spectacular introduction as per always, right? Then all of a sudden you couldn't hear me. Everything happened. My engineer in the back, Randy, I cut it. We fixed it. Hopefully everything's coming through great. Thanks, Randy, once again for that. He did say that, Rob, you need a new computer. You need a
Yeah.
new
Well, you
computer.
look beautiful. You look real
Yeah,
pretty today.
well, thank you very much. I'm even wearing my pink bandana.
Oh, I like
Yes,
that.
yes, you know,
All
it
right.
is Easter time. It's Easter time, and I decided why not? Why
Do
not
you have
go for
a
Robbie can
PayPal account or something if somebody wants to donate to help you
you
get
know,
a computer?
yeah, again, well, you know what? I haven't figured that out yet. I have PayPal. I can send money. I just can't receive it. Go figure. You know? But enough of me. I'm glad it's coming through. Thank you, Jessica, once again for helping out. Tex is moving, and I'm taking the controls here today. Well, I normally do on my show, but I got a great
Oh.
I got a
Oh
great
my
co
gosh.
I have a great
Look at
co-host.
that.
I have a great co-host. I have a great guest here. Hey, Eric, buddy.
Oh, what a sweetie.
I don't know if you're talking to me or somebody in chat. I can tend to be sweet, I guess. But hey, Eric, man, Gypsy Road, Paranormal Highway. Why don't you walk us through what you're all about, and we can get into it.
Not a problem. Not a problem. If some of you in the chat know me for a while, I see some great people that know me. You guys would know me. At one time my channel was called Gypsy Road. Unfortunately, the name itself was considered a slur. So there's been complaints to YouTube about the name. And I know what channels that were doing the complaint. There's some channels that aren't friends with me, I guess you could say, but they said it's a slur. So I had 30 days to change the name or I'll lose the channel, which I had forever, like since 2017. So, I thought, what would be a good name? If I took the road, if I put steroids in the road, what would that be? Highway. So now it's Paranormal Highway. So basically what the show's about is what I do like 5 shows a week. 4 of the shows is called Paranormal News. And what it is I usually have like 4 segments. There's a Bigfoot segment, paranormal segment, UFOs, Matrix, whatever else. And what we do is we check out some videos that was broadcast on the news or footages. We just look at them real quick. We judge them. We talk about them. It's a way to get all communities together on one, because there's people in the Bigfoot community might never saw some photos in the paranormal community or UFOs. So it's a way to see everything all at once. And then on Wednesday is the normal 2-hour show. Usually myself, Bigfoot, Anon, Connor comes on, and we'll just talk about whatever topic. Just like yesterday, we talk about the Easter Bunny. Is it a folklore? And we just talk about the history of it, and we kind of all learn together. We learned that the Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, and real quickly, Eric, the Easter Bunny came early. Christina Gomez, thank you very much for that super chat to get the day rolling. Christina Gomez, go check her out. She's an awesome interviewer.
Yeah, shifting the paradigm. Yeah, thank you, Christina. That was really sweet. We appreciate that.
The paradigm. She's going to be on Texas Front Porch here in a couple of weeks, and I think maybe even Jessica and I might even make an appearance on her show. Maybe not together. I don't know. So thank you, Christina. Everybody, go check her out.
Thank you.
Eric, man, sorry to cut you off. I had to give that shout out, and just continue on, my brother. Continue on.
No, God, I can't remember. Oh, we're talking about the Easter Bunny. We learned that it's a folklore story that came from Germany, where the bunny was actually, let's just say if you're a couple and you can't have kids, you're having issues with kids. Well, they believe that the bunny was like magic, and it will help you to get each other pregnant.
Fertility.
So that's where the good luck charms came from, with the magic of the Bigfoot.
Rabbit's foot.
I'm sorry, Bigfoot.
The Bigfoot.
And then it didn't hit. Then when people from Germany came to America in the 1800s, that's when they brought over the Easter Bunny, when they did a celebration. And then, of course, it kind of got mixed into the Christian world, where the Easter Bunny at the beginning had nothing to do with Christians.
Mm-hmm.
But then they kind of adapted it together somehow. So yesterday's show was awesome, just learning about folklore stories, because all these things, the leprechauns, everything has a story behind it. And we like to tackle those like on Wednesdays, like one main subject. And of course, on my show, we go anywhere. Rob and Tex was on there like a couple months ago, and you never know where we go on our show on a topic. We could go anywhere. But it's a good time. And I always like to be that show where, we got some great channels, right? Great, serious Bigfoot talk, paranormal talk, where it's all serious. I always like to be that channel where you can come back and you get to listen to some paranormal Bigfoot, but you can take your shoes off, relax, have a good time. You know what I mean? Kind of that comedy, not real comedy, but because I'm serious. I take the stuff seriously, but more relaxed kind of a style. Take your shoes off, eat some popcorn, have a few beers.
That's what people like to watch too, you know?
Absolutely, Jessica. And that's one of the reasons why I was attracted to your show, is because you can be serious, yet again, you can mix this a little bit of comedic gestures. And what I really like is the breaking news. You'll go all over different channels and bring in, I think one time I was watching your show and I didn't even know this. You brought in me and Tex doing something. We had Connor on. He's flailing around, getting into his groove. He was a guest, and it's just an outstanding show. I saw that and I said, man, you know what? I started watching your channel, and there's a reason why you have 15,000 subscribers. Everybody, please sub to his channel. And so, I mean, what was the idea behind that? Because your show is unique and it's different.
Sometimes we'll spy on channels, like. Yes, if I'm doing live and you're live, I can't just go over to your chat and say hi. I'm going to put you on my screen so everybody sees me talking to you and see if we get a response. And you did. It was great. It's fun. But I only do that to channels that I know they're not going to care. There are some channels that does not like that.
Right.
There are a few that this is our content and only our content. But I like to share, if I like a great channel, I always do shout outs. If I see someone in chat, I'll put the link up, or I have Danny Satin is my guy who puts everybody's links up for me, because it's about sharing information, because there's so many great channels, right? I mean, like, think about it this way. There's so many streaming services and you don't know what the fuck is on these channels. Right?
Yeah.
And you go to YouTube.
And I do have to make mention we are live on iHeartRadio, so we'll have to go back to the editing board. But continue on.
I apologize. But you go to YouTube, you type in Bigfoot, right? You get thousands of channels. So if we can tell people, hey, check out this channel, check out World Bigfoot down there, check out Flat Rock, check out BF Buzz channel, check out Chad Smith podcast. If we could, we share, make a community. That's how you build a healthy, fun community of telling everybody the good channels, everybody who likes to have fun, because even on YouTube, social media, there's a lot of bad people out there. Even on YouTube, there's a bad trolls, bad channels, and we can tell people where to go, check it out. Now, I never force people to go to channels, say, hey, check out Rob. He's fun, he's great, he's open-minded. And what attracted me about Rob's channel is there, you think Rob's channel, he has the Bigfoot title in his name, Bigfoot Michigan Rob. So you're thinking his channel is all Bigfoot. No, Rob will talk about anything. UFOs, bring it on. Paranormal, bring it on. That's what I like, when somebody's willing to listen to all different ideas. They're not all going to be real and right or correct, but just having the courage to talk about different topics, like a lot of people don't want to hear. Trust me, on my channel, Eric, you should not put UFOs with Bigfoot. That is wrong. We don't like that. Why? I'm not saying every Bigfoot there's going to be a UFO sighting, but there are some. Is there a connection? I don't know. That's why we talk about it.
Exactly.
And I'm gonna let Jessica chime in here after me. I said really quickly. That's why we did rebrand our station. It was Brunch with Bigfoot, but we're expanding. We've all expanded. Our flagship station is Texas Front Porch, so please subscribe to that, and you'll pick up all 4 of our shows. And of course, we simulcast on my show and Jessica's. But the thing is, we didn't want to be stereotyped, right? We have 4 different shows. We talk about 4 different things, and in order to reach a broader base, you just can't be pigeonholed into Bigfoot all the time or UFOs all the time. So we try to, again, with the addition of Jessica and her talents, it's our goal, is to hit everybody. You might if you don't like one show, that's fine, but you're probably going to love the other show. If you don't like all 4 shows, then I don't know what you're doing. So with that,
I know, right?
so with that being said, Jessica, I'm
Yeah.
sorry I cut you off, but the floor is
No,
yours.
it's fine. Listen, we can't take ourselves too seriously, y'all. Okay, so in this field, everything is just it's the stuff we talk about is wacky to begin with to a lot of people, but to us, it's very real. And so the best way that I like to convey, my research and things I do is through humor and just having fun with it, because that's the best way to get the message through to people, and especially for people who are not educated or hadn't been out in the woods before or whatever. So that's the thing. And another thing that I appreciate about being on a team now with Rob and Tex and Randy and, and Jason is that we all have different views on things. I mean, I go out in the field and I've experienced, doing Bigfoot field research, UFOs all around me and aliens and portals and all sorts of stuff that perhaps some of the guys, may not believe or have not seen, they don't believe it, but may not have seen a, portal or understand like interdimensional stuff or want to connect that to Bigfoot, So it's good to have all these different viewpoints and us just kind of all getting along and just being like, well, let's look at each other's, experience and let's kind of figure this out together, So that's what I like about that.
Yeah. Well, I was watching a little bit of YouTube last night before I went to the movies, saw the Nicolas Cage movie, which was good. And you were on Spectrum, Supernatural Spectrum.
Yeah.
He changed his name from Squatch in South Florida. And when I heard you talk about Bigfoot and UFOs connection, I'm like, oh my God, I like this woman already. I like her already. She's already combining it. She's so open-minded, and I love it. Now, I had to leave because we had an early access for a movie for next week. I get invited sometimes to see an early movie to let the world know if I like it or not. So when you talked about Bigfoot and UFOs with Spectrum with Matt yesterday, what was that about? Like is that experience you have? Because I heard you said you were on a Bigfoot hunt.
Yes.
And then during the Bigfoot hunt, that's when you saw the
Yes.
UFOs. And that's why I tell people, listen to all communities because you never know. I have a friend named Val, her name Nicole. She went on a paranormal search at a graveyard and she saw red eyes out there and sounds of a Bigfoot. You never know when two worlds going to connection.
I mean, we have all sorts of different worlds connecting out there. It's not just Bigfoot, it's aliens. I mean, my team actually has a portal documented on film opening, and we sent our teammates inside of it and they disappeared. Their heat signatures completely disappeared in an open field. And then they walked back out and their heat signatures reappeared. Okay, so we've had everything from portals to ETs, the aliens, lights everywhere, orbs, but the Bigfoot, it's when we started off as a Bigfoot field research team, and it just morphed into everything, all the paranormal stuff. So I can't even say that like I'm a Bigfoot field researcher solely. I'm a paranormal field researcher because it's everything. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of how you grow up, right? Because I grew up, my family, they're hunters. We live in the mountains, we were poor. People go to Disneyland. We went in the mountains and hunt. And our family has always talked about Bigfoot as just part of nature. Don't go out in the woods. Remember, that's their home. So Bigfoot was always talked like normally. So, when I found out there's channels about Bigfoot, I never thought about people really talk about Bigfoot deep because it was always a normal conversation with our family. It wasn't scary.
Mine too.
It wasn't nothing. So it's awesome. But everybody has different experiences. I know people got into Bigfoot because they had that one experience that changed their life. For me, we had, there was a time that we know it. We saw Bigfoot. We know it. What happened? I don't know if Rob will want me to tell it real quick.
Yeah, I know. Go right ahead. It's just floor is yours on that.
Like I know my brother was 15. He's 3 years older than me, so that makes me probably 12 or 11. When we go hunting, we do two kind of hunting styles. Half the group walks, and the other half drives in the cars. Usually the older people drive because they can't walk, and all the young people walk. Since I was 12, I had to be in the car with the older people, which, it is what it is, right? And all the young people get to go walk, but it was all right. It's all right. Well, we go to a place called A Zone. It's up in the Sierra Mountains. we camped a place called Poison Meadows because it's a beautiful meadow, water and just nature's there, and we always meet up at this place where there's like 3 rocks. We meet up the middle of the day at night, and then we all drive back together. It's almost every trip we do this. But one night we went and met up everybody, got everybody in the vehicle, and it started pouring down rain, I was kind of weird too, because it doesn't rain a whole lot above Fresno in California. It rains, but not a whole lot. But that night it was raining. So maybe that's the reason why Bigfoot came out. I can't tell you, but we were just driving, and then you heard this freaking noise. I mean, you heard this at 12 years old. I can't really explain exactly what it was, but it was like a loud, high pitched noise to the left, and everybody looked. And then I remember like hearing my uncle's like, "Holy!" I'm trying not to say a word. Look at that! And then everybody looked over like, "What the hell is that?" And then all the young people, got their weapons, all jump out the car, and everybody started chasing this. Not the older people, just the young people. Now, it didn't go on 4 legs. It stayed on 2 legs. So when people say, "Well, you might have saw a bear does not run on 2 legs. It does not run."
Yeah, right.
And everybody started running.
It can walk, but
I had a stupid little pocket knife. Like, what the hell am I going to do with the pocket knife? You're 12 years old. You want to be part of it. And then
it's a weapon.
Everybody was chasing this. I'm telling you, it was Bigfoot. It was no bear. It was no nothing. But the weird thing is, everybody was running and trying to. I don't know what we're gonna do if we circle it right. I mean, bunch of idiot kids.
Now you were running towards this thing, then, not away. Yes, that's totally psycho.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Dude,
12?
If you met my family, they're psychotic hunters. I mean, these people are not afraid. I mean, these people went on to be military snipers. I mean, these are the real deal. But then it disappeared. I don't know how you explain it, but it was like gone, and there was like no prints. Like, that's where I never thought about portals during that time. But I'm like, well, how can something that big, even if it was a bear, would leave some kind of markings?
Right.
But it was just gone. Did it climb up? I mean, I can't tell. It was dark. I mean, I guess it could have. And I still remember we all get back to the vehicle. My Uncle Johnny came out. There's like, if you kids ever freaking run out again, they were pissed. I mean, they're like, there's the reason. That's their land. This is not yours. You don't ever run after them. And they were pissed. I mean, they're right? We're young, stupid.
Yeah.
We shouldn't run after it, because even if it say it was a bear, they could kill you. I mean, swab. And then, but it was a fun. But we all know what it was, and we talk about it from time to time. We're like, why that night? You always try to determine, what was it? Why did it come out? Was it because it never rained and it just happened to rain? Or, by going to Rob's channel, people's channels, then you hear about the young Bigfoots, right? The young ones. They might not know as much as the older ones. That could be a possibility, because we don't know exactly what height they are. You learn so much by listening to other channels, and like, hey, that could be why the rain kind of brushed them out. A young one didn't know or got lost, or
maybe because you guys had kids in your party. You had a bunch of kids there, right? So
it was
the kids. Yeah.
I mean, we would go hunting, camping. It's like a big family reunion. It's big. It's the Wood family. We have paper sign that you don't camp down here. It was back in the day where people respect people's places, property. That's the Wood family. We don't camp there. Nowadays, it's not like that. People don't care anymore. Well, actually, what's sad is if you go up those same mountains, half the freaking forest is burnt down.
Really?
And I'm only one. Oh God, it almost makes you cry when you see your own woods like burnt down, and you ask yourself too, like, how does that affect the animals and Bigfoot themselves?
Yeah,
half their forests are being burnt down all across the world, in Canada, California. I'm sure Midwest. I'm sure. Because you're in Michigan, right?
Yeah, no forests here, but no forest fires here. But it's pretty much encompassed by the Great Lakes. So, but I can see where out in the West, and I had a question too with these, which is a great point you brought up about these forest fires. which again, for people who live in California, my heart goes out to you when that happens to you. And do you think that that has an immediate effect on people having more sightings? Do you think that that actually does draw out the Bigfoot and you can happen to see them more
No.
readily than perhaps
Oh.
a state like Michigan or Tennessee?
I think it's a combination because if you think about it, in the last 2-3 years, people were home more because we're not going to get into why. We all know why. People are out more. They have to be alone. They're out in the woods more. So I think there's an increase of people being outside in rural places because you're not going to go outside to the mall if you're afraid of what's going on, but you will go in the mountains and do trails. So I think there's a combination of more people walking, and that's a great point because if you have half the mountains were burnt on fires, they got to feed, right? They got to eat. You would be condensed, and then you add more people. Yeah. I mean, look at the UFO sightings has gone up dramatically in the last 3-4 years. And I don't think it's because we have an increase of UFOs. I think there's always been there. People are out more because we live in a technology world. Everybody has their phones, internet, and all that. But when you're home all day and you can't even go to work and stuff, you do get tired of sick of too much YouTube. You can. So you are out more than ever. And I think it's a combination of all of it.
And also,
yeah. Go ahead,
yeah. Also, they call 2020 the year of sight. Now, on a spiritual level, a lot of things were exposed in 2020, right? And that they say that spiritually the veil was thinned, okay? And so people started seeing people for who they are, seeing corruption for what it is, all that kind of stuff. And I'm not getting political, okay?
Right.
But it's the whole environment has changed, like the whole energy, the vibration, the frequency, it's all changed. And so people are having more experiences partially because of that. Okay. And people are paying more attention to the sky now. People, all you got to do is look up, you can see UFOs, they're pretty much everywhere a lot of times, but the Bigfoot sightings, everything's gone up, so I think it has a little something to do with that too.
And actually too, I agree with you, Jessica and Eric, to your point, not to be political again, but we had COVID. We were locked down since 2020.
Yeah.
And more people are looking up. They're not. Now, you could not go to the park or the forest the national parks because those were locked down too, but a lot more people. And you had made mention about more.
They're kind of locked down.
Well, yeah, you could go there, but the facilities
around.
were closed down.
Yeah, you could sneak around maybe, but to do it correctly without looking over your shoulder, not only you're looking over your shoulder, you're looking for Bigfoot, but for the park ranger, right? But I believe a lot of people were looking up more so. In fact, they came out with a movie called Look Up, right? Which that's a different story, but
more
people. I do think more people were actually stargazing, and it turned into them having actual sightings.
Well, think about this. Since I've really been into YouTube, like 2016, been doing shows when I had other channels before they got taken down. You have more channels since 2016, more and more. People are hearing it more. So people are realizing, like, man, next time I take that walk, I should start looking around. Right. I watch Long Island Bigfoot Mike a lot. And, I learned a lot from him. Like, dude, when you take that walk, when you're on that trail, just don't try to look for the creature. Look for evidence around you. Look at the trees bending down. And you learn so much. There's so much out there now. And now I think people are a little bit more awake. Do we have enough people awake? Of course not. We're
working on it.
But you're slowly moving people over. And, it takes channels like ours, Jessica's channel, Rob's channel, everybody's channel, a little bit by a little bit.
Yeah.
And you got to talk about different things to get people in.
You do. And I think you do have to promote awareness. It's like, I've told this story before. It's not about I had a Bigfoot encounter, but I'm not going to talk about that. But my brother, he's been a hunter for over 20 years in his life, always been in the woods. I told him about my encounter. He's like, now he believes me, but then he's like, Rob, how come I've never seen a Bigfoot myself? Because I'm out there. I said, number one, you're not looking for it, let alone did you even believe in it? So he told me this quick story. He goes, well, can you explain this then? Because maybe this has something to do with Bigfoot. He was hunting one day and he had sighted up a deer, shot it. He knows he hit it. It takes off and he picks up the the trail of the deer. He finds the blood. He follows it for maybe several hundred yards, and all of a sudden, this blood trail stops at a big tree, big wide-based tree. And then he looks into the ground. He says the indentation of where the deer fell. He could see the outline. He's been doing it long enough to know the deer fell there, and there's blood there. And he's looking around. He notices that there was no human footprints. There was no four-wheeler coming back there, because he was thinking that maybe just someone stole his deer, because it took him a while to finally find where the deer fell. And he's like, by damned, I can't see any entrance or exit around this area. He's looking around. And then he happens to look at the base of the tree, and he looks up. And as he looks up, the tree goes up as though the deer was dragged up this tree about 8-9 feet with its blood. And then it disappears, stops. And that's it. He goes, hey, Rob, you think maybe that was a Bigfoot snagged my deer? I'm like, well, certainly sounds like something snagged your deer, and it was not a human. That's the first thing that came to my mind. But it was the awareness. At least I told him about my encounter, and like my nephew, a couple of my buddies that hunt, now they kind of look for the broken tree limbs or footprints outside of just the average everyday hunting. So that's a good point you brought up.
Yeah, just imagine all the times that you've walked through the woods before you were familiar with Bigfoot, and there were probably so many tree bends and things that, as a Bigfoot field researcher, I notice those things now,
Yeah.
tree twists and things like that. Imagine all the people that walk by that stuff and don't pay it any mind. They don't even see it.
Now, don't get none of us wrong, people in the chat. You can't just go out there empty-handed. Know your area, have maps, because you can get lost in these places. Especially like I live in Seattle, so we have the Olympic Mountains and all that. They're thick. If you're going to go out there, bring water with you, bring stuff with you. Just because you want to research, you're hearing how everybody's doing on research, you do got to prepare yourself, because you don't want to hurt yourself, just being out there, because there are animals out there. There are bears, and, especially now, bears just went through winter. They're waking up. And when bears wake up with all that berries in the stomach, it becomes wine. They're drunk. So I'm serious. You gotta be careful, and
watch out for bear fights.
It is because when they wake up, they're drunk. I mean, all that food they eat, it becomes like alcohol in their system. So so you really gotta be extra careful, especially in the spring.
Yeah,
and they're hungry. They're feeding. So if you go out there, have somebody with you. Have somebody who knows the area. I always tell people, if you're going to a brand new area, this might sound stupid. Take a whole yarn, tie it to your pants. Walk out there with the yarn. Sounds stupid, sound crazy, but you're going to find your way back. You won't get lost unless you break it.
Well, and also whenever I go out in the woods, I usually take I have a little combat medical bag, a medic bag, just in case, because, I have some medics on my Bigfoot teams, and they taught us some crash courses in combat medical stuff. And so, I know how to cover a sucking chest wound if I have to, and things like that. But I mean, just to have like some kind of, always when you go out in the woods, always have some kind of medic bag with you. That's important, because you never know what's going to happen, in a snake bite kit and all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
That's new to me. I never heard of a sucking chest wound.
Well, guess what? Now you have. Hey, maybe I'll teach a course on it one day.
In California, there's a lot of snakes, and it's rattlesnake. It's one of the things you got to watch out when you go in the mountains in California. There's snakes up there. Some are poisonous, some are not. So if you get bitten, you got to start sucking that poison out.
Yeah. Well, you have to know like what snakes are in your area too. Like I live in Georgia, and so we have copperheads and timber rattlers and water moccasins. I live on a lake, so we've got moccasins out back in my backyard. So you just have to know what's out there. Yeah, know your region.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, regardless, Erica and Jessica, it's like, regardless of Bigfoot, if you just don't go out and decide you want to hunt one day, right? You've got to know your area. You have to know all the safety. You have to know what certain animals sound like, at least get used to it. And Which brings me to a point, Eric. Have you ever talked to anybody? Now we're talking about Bigfoot, and what's been your experience or what you've heard from people you've interviewed or spoken with in your investigations? What do you think? You think there's a connection? We're talking about paranormal and UFOs. What do you think about the Bigfoot and the UFO connection or the orbs? Have you heard a lot about that, especially up in the Seattle area?
One of the first cool interviews that I had on my channel was the she squatchers. The all-female group Midwest, they were on and they were talking to us about them seeing orbs when they go out there and the color orbs and they could feel the Bigfoots and all that. And, I never really imagined, I never thought about orbs and UFOs during that time especially orbs, because orbs are probably the hardest to prove, right? They are hard to prove, dust and all that. But when I started hearing people's stories about the orbs and everything, like, wow, is there a connection? If you think about it, people say Bigfoots are humans like us in a way. They're just a different species, and if we could see ghosts, we could see orbs and around it, why can't the Bigfoot be around orbs and all that spiritual? We don't know. It's not like we go camping with them in the woods. I mean, there's Native American stories about how the Native Americans were partners with the Bigfoots back in the day, where they would give Bigfoot food and Bigfoot will guard their land, guard them from whatever, spirits or whatever out there. So there is a connection. Now, UFOs, that's probably the hardest, I would think. I think that's why I love listening to people like Jessica talk about UFOs, because there is so many things in the sky now. I mean, how do you determine what's up there and what's not, especially in the woods, right? Because if you see light here in the city, we got an airport. You could check with the airports, plane flyovers. You could dissect all that. But when you're in the woods, there shouldn't be. I don't think there is. There's not airports out there and stuff. So how do you determine? I mean, Jessica, when you see a color in the sky, I mean, is there a certain something that you're looking for to say, hey, this really is an unidentified flying object?
Well, I actually know what you have to know what a satellite looks like, everybody. So if you're outside looking at the stars, there are so many satellites, and people get those confused with UFOs. Okay, so know what it's not going to be, or know what's up there. Okay, and so a lot of the experiences that I've had one like low flying UFO that was hovering over us one night. And then we've had a whole bunch of them that are like way up in the sky, but they move differently. They're going in diagonals and triangular, shapes and things like that. It's just weird. Very different than an airplane. Okay. Very different. But yeah, going to the topic of orbs is just about every time I'm out in the woods, we see orbs. I've even had an orb floating in my tent one night while I was trying to go to sleep. Okay. Out in the woods. So
what makes it an orb for you? I mean, what's the one thing you say?
They're all different. Well, see, here's the thing. They're all different. And so, I've had orbs in my home. I have orbs on video surrounding my son and floating around my son. And he and I could see the orbs with our bare eyes, but the person filming it could only see them through the camera. So what does that tell you? I like to bring up that story to kind of put it out there that, not everybody can see these things. Not everybody is able to see phenomenon. What you see, the person next to you may not be seeing, so I don't know how to explain that or what it means.
It's not true, because I have,
but it's interesting, right?
Well, I have friends who are mediums, and I asked them the same question. I go, why can't I see all the paranormal around me? And they're like, well, Eric, for one thing, paranormal is happening around you, but you're just not in tune to realize the things around you that are happening that's unusual. It's a good point. So you gotta slow down, slow your mind down, and kind of like meditate in a lot of ways, because they say, Eric, you're so fast sometimes you go 10 miles per hour, you're not relaxing. One of the best things that has happened to me about a couple of weeks ago, and it energized me, man. It really re-energized me, because sometimes I'll go to certain channels, get a card reading. I went to Chad Smith, did a card reading about me, about the ancestors next to me. And then I had a medium Amber Paraworld behind the scenes give me a reading. It says there's a person next to you. So on live on my show, I took out an EVP and I was talking. This is like hour into the show, and this is live. Everybody who saw my show saw this. I go, okay, can you make something move for me? Right? And then I heard this noise, and everybody who watched the video, they know what I'm talking about. You know, some of the people in the chat right now, they saw it. I looked in the corner. I'm like, what the? I didn't say that, but I said, what the hell? And then the whole green screen came down.
Oh, wow.
The green screen came down. And I was like, oh my God. I was so happy. I was like, finally, something has happened. Now, some people might say, well, Eric, that's fake. It's probably going to fall down anyway. Yeah. An hour into the show, after I asked something to move, it just timed it perfectly. I mean, I guess it could be a possibility, but no, that energized me like, goddamn, finally, something. Finally, I asked something, and there's a certain energy you just get. You know what I mean? Like, finally, something. Because I wasn't seeing orbs, you know, and I love the paranormal. You know, I've done some stupid things, of course. I've done stupid shows where I try to possess a doll before. I actually done that. I have done that. I followed the rules. Like,
nice.
You cannot buy a Ouija board. You got to make your own. So I made my own for the show. Made my own. Made it. Of course, it never works. And you get down on yourself like, Eric, you should be playing with that stuff. I know, but I want it to work. So I follow all the rules. So when this one thing happened to me a couple of weeks ago, oh my God, it just energized me. Like, this is what I needed to keep going, you know, because sometimes you need a little push here and there.
Yeah.
You know?
And you know, too, it's just so funny. It's really fascinating. And, you know, we're talking about orbs and, okay, like an orb, what is it, right? Is it an entity? Is it supernatural, paranormal, whatever verbiage you want to put out there? But I was talking to a guy about 2 months ago, and he gave me his take on orbs. Jessica, you could probably dive into this, and Eric yourself. I'm not saying I believe this. I'm not saying I don't believe it, but I find it to be very interesting. He told me that orbs were actually an alien craft sent from the mothership. They're investigating the area, the forest, looking for whether it be a Bigfoot, a dogman, humans, whatever. But they used it as an investigational tool. And this guy was dead serious. He told me this. And I'm like most people. I mean, I do this and I'm open-minded. And I didn't say I don't believe it. I don't disbelieve it. Have you guys heard anything about that? What do you think?
I've seen that actually. So I know this is a little wild, right? But everything's wild. So I have actually seen a video of a legit video of somebody's like CCTV in their backyard, right? Like a security cam of orbs shooting down from the sky and landing on the ground and turning into aliens. And the aliens run all over the backyard. They turn back into orbs and shoot back off and go past the camera. Okay, so I've actually seen this. It was legit. I don't think that it's been released to the public, but I've seen it, and several of my colleagues have seen this as well. So I know that that is a possibility. I also know that orbs are all different types of energy. And so there's those kind of orbs that like aliens, right? And those, they look like silver balls. They're more like metallic looking.
Yeah.
But see, we encounter just balls of light in the woods, which are orbs. And we also have like transparent orbs, like what you would see in like a ghost show or something, you know, those kind of orbs. So I don't know. There's orbs or orbs. There's just all different. There's a whole variety. So, but I can say that I have seen a video of what you're referring to, Rob.
You know what that reminds me of, Jessica?
Yes.
I believe some movies, some directors are influenced by the UFOs, but their own experiences in life. You know, talking about what you're saying, I remember a movie in the 80s by John Carpenter called Starman, where an alien craft comes to Earth and it's in an orb form. And it flies around like an orb, a blue color, and it's looking for that DNA to become a person so it can research on this planet. It kind of explains what you're saying is I believe sometimes these movies are stories that these people know. They're just telling it in their own way. So it's interesting. You're saying like the silver metallic. It just reminds me of that movie of an orb is an alien life form and is floating around to find some kind of DNA to become a person to not to hurt us, to research the planet. Because there's only two reasons, right? If you really think about it, there's only two reasons why an alien will come: to research or to kill us, right? And of course, I don't think they want to populate with us because they know how evil humans are, because humans can't handle what they don't understand. So they have to hide and research. And maybe you're right. Maybe those orbs are them exploring into a section where people are not going to say, that's a human form, we got to kill it. Because I have never heard somebody say, I got to kill an orb.
Right.
So maybe they are.
They're a little fast too. They can move quick.
They can move quick, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
It is. It was actually video is quite disturbing. And I had trouble sleeping after I saw that. It was because, aliens don't move like humans. If y'all have ever seen an alien run. It's very, it's a little disturbing for real.
But so you saw one, but do you think they could be different? Here on Earth, there's different countries. We look differently and all that. Don't you think maybe they are different aliens here that maybe some can't?
Yeah, I've seen different types of aliens. I've had different types of aliens in my house.
Do you think
so?
Are you? I mean, I don't know you 100%. I'm discovering you like being on Matt's channel. Are you a medium somewhat where there's a reason why you're seeing them more than maybe myself and Rob? So
perhaps. Yeah, I'm a remote viewer. I do remote viewing too, and I've grown up with mediumship abilities. So yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that something you think that like myself or Rob could learn? Like
absolutely. Remote viewing, yeah.
I hear that. I'm always wondering, but how? Like I wish there was. I know this sounds weird. I wish there was a class, like some college or so schooling, that people are brave enough to come out and like do a teaching on where we could sit there and learn to try to be more in tune to see these things. You know what I mean?
I know yeah.
Stuff,
And what I try to do, especially on my channel, I do like oracle card readings, and I just talk about like spiritual stuff, and in addition to all the Bigfoot, stuff. But it's all related to me. I mean, Bigfoot is part of my spiritual journey. I mean, all of it, and aliens and everything. It's all connected, to my opinion, and ghosts and portals and interdimensionals.
Yeah.
It's all related. And so what I try to do is give little tidbits of advice to people on how to awaken your third eye and how to get in tune with the subtle energy changes and shifts in your environment, because it's all related to that's how you become a better remote viewer, and we're all psychic. We all have enhanced human capabilities. That doesn't mean that everybody understands.
Oh man, I was getting right into it too. I was loving what she's saying.
There she is.
You're back.
I'm telling you what, this Xfinity, they owe me, man. I'm telling you, they better fix this today.
We lost about 5 seconds there. If you want to.
Okay, so but what I try to do is to give little tidbits of information about how to sense the subtle energy shifts in a room and changes, and how to awaken your third eye, and how to quit drinking fluoride, everybody. Just to cut things like that out of your environment. Like there's just certain things that you can do.
Now, okay. Jessica, you since I've known you now for several months or longer, or several months, you always mention this thing about the fluoride, and yeah. I'm finally going to ask you, because we're all weirdos anyway, right?
Yes.
What is fluoride? Big time. What does fluoride have to do with your spiritual connection or your consciousness?
It calcifies your pineal gland. Okay, the
third eye.
Yes, the one up here, and it's by design. It's I am a conspiracy theorist, but it's actually the truth. All this fluoride that's been pumped into our water systems and our toothpaste, and even baby drinking water. If you go to the grocery store, it says fluoride's included in it. It's to calcify your pineal gland so you are not in tune and you don't have that sixth sense. Okay.
So don't drink it.
Don't drink fluoride.
Water. Okay.
They say that you need it for your teeth health, and that's bull crap. It's a different kind of fluoride. Okay. So I recommend fluoride free toothpaste, and getting a really good water filter. Like, I'm not sponsored by a water filter company, but you guys can go to, My Patriot Supply or somewhere and get a good one, that takes the fluoride out. in addition to all the other crap they're
Well, I
pumping
have
in us.
water bottles, and I go to those store
Yeah.
machines, and I get them all filtered and all that.
Oh yeah.
But
Just filter.
even I drink that. You think like some? But when I cook food, I still use sink water on that part because I don't want to waste my good water. But you think
I would start using your good water to eat with
Good water?
too.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it takes forever to like to turn the nozzle up and like drip the water out sometimes, and it's frustrating, but it's well worth it because we just don't know what all they're pumping into our water systems unless you have a well, you know.
So
But yeah, get rid of the fluoride because it's blocking your third eye, is blocking
Wow.
your
about that.
you being psychic and being able to see beyond the realms. It's very important that we cut that kind of stuff out of our diets.
Wow.
well, I'm going to say real briefly for all the folks that lived in Flint, Michigan, which is like 200 miles from here when you had your water contamination problem. Look on the bright side. You now have opened your pineal gland.
I think it's pronounced something pineal.
P-E-N-I-A-L, pineal. I always said pineal gland. Pineal?
I say pine. It sounds like pine needle. Okay. Like people drink pine needle tea and it sounds like pine needle.
Well, some people in the chat, Scott Moron said, purify water changed my life.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I mean, there's just so many chemicals that are kind of put in our, like deodorant. Somebody just said deodorant with the aluminum in it. And, all the things that are being sprayed on us, like barium and aluminum coming from the skies. And I mean, we're getting attacked from every angle, you guys. So just be aware. That's all I'm asking.
True. I used to use Old Spice, but then I was getting rashes all the time using it. So I had to switch over to something that was more organic, and now I get no rash. And it's like, why? Like you said, chemicals.
That's right.
And I never thought about the chemicals stopping your mind to be more open, like compressing it. So that's very interesting. I'm glad I'm talking to you. I'm gonna start cooking with all my bottled water.
You learn something. You learn something
ahead.
every day on any of the shows that we have, and real briefly too, coming up for our people out on Odyssey and iHeartRadio. Come on over to Texas Front Porch on YouTube to catch the rest of the show, as we have a 54-minute time limit with them. So come on over and like, share, and subscribe to catch the rest. Continuing on with Jessica Jones, my co-host, and Eric from formerly Gypsy Road, but now the Paranormal Highway. Anybody, take it up.
Yeah. Talking about the fluoride. Oh, what were you going to say, Eric? Sorry.
No. I'm just reading some of these people in the chat. Yeti bars for sure. So there are Bigfoot bars you can buy that's supposed to be purely clean and all that. That's good to know. That's good.
Oh, the Squatch soap. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's good.
I just didn't want to smell squatchy.
Processed food and like all that. I know we all know junk food's bad for you. It's common sense. I mean, we know that. But do you think that like even junk food and all that with the stuff, the chemicals in there, that kind of keeps us where we can't open mind? Also?
Oh my God. Yes. And even our fast food is honestly, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Like I don't eat fast food very often, but my son wanted a hamburger. I'm not going to say which place it was from, but it was a hamburger from a fast food place. He was craving a hamburger from a particular place. So I went and got me and him something it rhymes with it rhymes with Whopper. Okay. And we went and got some burgers, and I went home, and I swear to God, I felt like somebody had drugged me. Like I could not lift my head up. I was so tired. I had to go to sleep. I literally felt like someone had put a Xanax in my food or something. It was horrible. Like I was like mad and scared that somebody had really drugged me. Okay. Because I don't eat that kind of stuff very often. So imagine if this is what we're consuming, especially as Americans. We all love fast food and stuff. We are purposely kind of being fed stuff that's just, weighing us down. And it's, I don't even know if it's real food, to be honest with you.
What it is, Jessica, is I admit I eat some fast food, but when you try to eat healthy, and we all should try to eat healthy, when you go to the store and buy all the ingredients for this big meal, it's so expensive nowadays in stores that it's almost cheaper to buy the fast food because we all live such a high-tech life, right? Go to
Right.
work, get the Joe's ready and all that. And a lot of times we don't have that 30 minutes to an hour to make the foods that we need. So it's so much more, like you said, more
You're right,
water.
convenient.
Life
And
itself is
Yeah.
hard. It's
And
hard.
especially if you're kids, I've got a little boy and he loves him a cheesy Gordy to crunch. You know what I'm saying? So, and I live out in the country, but we have one fast food place that happens to have those tacos there. So, once a week I'll go get him one, and I'll get me one too. I'm not going to lie. So, but, yeah, but it's just we're getting hit by a bunch of different angles, and yeah, it's weird that a salad costs $10 and a burger costs $1. So
that'd be a good and fun experiment, right? Get you and a guy, get him on a diet, whatever, clean his body out, and you go, eat a lot of fat, food, then go on a hunt for UFO, paranormal, Bigfoot, and let's see who has the experience. And
the people
in
with the
theory,
salad would. Well, actually, yeah, because it's going to be what food does is it either raises your vibration or it lowers your vibration. Okay. And so a lot of times people will fast if they want to have an enlightening situation. If they want to go out in the woods, a lot of times when people go out in the woods, like on a vision quest or whatever, they fast for like a week or something, a lot of times if you want to have more of a paranormal experience and open your body and your chakras up and everything, you fast. Okay. You go on a water diet, or you just don't eat a bunch of meat, just eat clean. Okay. Like eat clean food and it's going to help you. Yeah. I mean, I think so. I may not be right, but that's what I think. So, and that's what I've heard. So
and it's always awesome to hear everybody's have an opinion, their theory, and that's what it's all about. Really take in what you can and roll with it.
Right.
I mean, I just left 2 minutes ago. You guys probably noticed briefly because my third eye, my pineal gland was open because I sensed my brother pulling up the driveway with the chainsaw to finish off my tree. And guess what? He was sitting in my driveway. Thank you, Jessica. I learned something every day.
I'm glad that I could help open your pineal gland.
I didn't brush my teeth. I didn't brush my teeth this morning. That's what it was.
Your pineal gland.
Listen to you, Jessica. It makes sense, right? Because when we go camping, go hunting, we're out there for weeks, sometimes a couple of weeks in the mountains, right? And usually when you're in the mountains, you're not eating fast food or none of that. You're eating whatever food you brought up. You got to cook, you got to make, and all that. So a lot of times you are cleaning out your body during a camping trip because you're not at a fast food place.
Right.
And a lot of people see more things during trips. So it does make sense. Yeah. I can see the connection between it all. But now Jessica, everybody probably knows the missing 411 stories and all that.
Oh yeah.
But it's so intriguing when I listen to the 411 stories about a lot of people who have injuries on them are the ones that go missing, where they know these people can't walk away and all that, and somehow they're gone. Do you feel, in your opinion, that maybe there's a connection? Not saying Bigfoot, but maybe like a UFO and a wormhole that's taking these people away? Because when they're missing, it's just there's no evidence, there's no footprints, no dragging, no nothing.
Absolutely, it's the portal, and the fact that my team has we've experienced portals. This is the second portal that my team has experienced, by the way. It's only the first one that they documented. Okay. So it's, I think that may be where all these missing people are going. I mean, this thing it was like a big square, a cube. It just showed up in the middle of an open field and nobody could see it with their bare eyes. It was only through a FLIR and a thermal. Okay. So the guys, the entire environment changed. They couldn't see the stars. The entire vegetation changed and the ground was smooth, and they had enough wherewithal to sit there and be like, all right, something's not right, and they turned around, backed up and walked out of it, and their heat signatures reappeared. So, and then the thing shrunk down and it moved and it disappeared.
Yeah.
If they had not walked out, they might have gone with it.
And what's fascinating is a lot of these people, some of them can't even walk. So you're like, there's no way they could be gone that far from where they were left.
Well, what if these things are like someone asked me this one day, and it was, what if these boxes, these cubes are actually targeting certain people and like moving in and appearing on top of where people are and kind of like swallowing them up, you know, and then taking them off, because we don't know what the technology is behind this. You know, I don't think it's natural.
Well, if there's UFOs here, their technology is way beyond ours.
Absolutely.
So, you know, and like people say, well, how come we don't detect them? If they have machinery that could come to this planet, it's way beyond anything anybody can detect. Come on. I mean, these way more advanced than we are.
But what does our government know about it? And are they involved in this? You know, that kind of stuff too. You got to go down that rabbit hole.
A dump button when I come on. I haven't said that. I only said one bad word. Come on, Chad. I only said one bad word.
You know, Jessica, that's funny too, because it always comes back to the government, doesn't it? We always see every show I've been on or do or that we make. It's always the
just
government.
ones I'm on. I'm one of those conspiracy theorists, apparently.
What do we think about these reports that are supposedly now is released to us, and now the reports are out. Some people are reading it like UFOs has been increasing along with pregnancies. So now they're trying to combine the both. Is this, Jessica? You think this is just kind of the government just giving us a little bit so we can shut up and not really pay attention to them, or
they know that we know
real?
Yeah, and you know too,
we know.
Yeah, absolutely. And on these reports, the reports that came out is stuff that I knew 3 years ago anyway. Yeah, they might have thrown in a tidbit here or there that might be different, but everything they came out with, I've known. Hell, I wasn't even in UFOs 4 years ago, and the things they were coming out about, I knew about just from from being casual about it. So, you know, I mean, it is what it is. I don't trust them as far as I can throw them when it comes to that.
Rob, were you in the military by any chance?
No, I was not.
Okay.
No.
Now, I was in the military, but everybody knows who's been in the military. They're never going to let you know the real stuff that they know that we can't handle as people. And that's so sad too, because I'm not sticking up for the government at all, but there are certain things that the regular public can't handle. You know, it will collapse. Not everybody's like us here, open-minded or welcome them. You know, if we see an alien, we're still going to work the next day, paying our taxes. But majority of the people in the world see an alien, they're not going to work. It's going to collapse. So there are certain things I can see why they're hiding it, but we all know the truth is there. The truth is there.
Yeah. Well, and that's one thing I'm a little worried about with my remote viewing show that I'm doing, is that it's really exposing a lot of cover-ups and stuff. So I'm a little bit worried about, especially tomorrow night show.
You know, Eric's left 3 times already. I guess his pineal gland's really active today.
No.
Pineal is pineal gland.
I know.
Pine needle. He got his pine needle.
You already got me on it. I know. I'm kidding around. You know. Hey, Flat Rock.
Oh man, but
my battery went dead, so my coffee's cold now. It went dead.
You got to plug your coffee back in, huh?
I got to plug it back in. So.
Yeah, but I'm worried about getting too deep into these remote viewing targets, because there's always been a cover up, and obviously they're keeping it hidden for a reason.
Can I give you not really a theory, but somebody asked me one time, Eric, if you're going to go on a UFO hunt, where would you go? Would you go to all the hot spots on a map where people claims? And I've always said, you know what? I'll probably go where the meteorites are said to, came to this planet, because my question is, all these meteorites, are they really meteorites, or are they UFO and they're just being hidden as being said they're meteorites? So I think if I was going on a pure UFO hunt and I could go anywhere in the world, I will go where the meteorite sightings are at.
Hey, Jessica, real briefly, before you answer that, I'm loving how Brunch with Bigfoot Michigan Rob and Jessica are supposed to be interviewing Eric, but how he's turned the tables, and now I feel like Jessica and Rob are now being interviewed. It's a first. It's a first for.
Well, look, we all have our own shows. This is bound to happen.
You know, we all like to talk. I love it, Eric, man. I love it.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. No. Do not apologize. The people in chat are digging it. I'm digging it. Thanks for coming on. And hey, And thank you, Dave Scott, Spaced Out Radio. There we go.
Listen, guys.
Oh, Dave.
There we
gotta
go,
rub your
Dave.
chin
I'm
here.
rubbing my chin here for Dave Scott right now.
I've been hosting a show since 2016, and I just want to learn so much. And when I talk to somebody brand new like Jessica, it's like I don't want to be about me. I want to learn her because it helps me. So I apologize. It's a habit. Every time I go on Chad Smith, sometimes they're like, "Oh, Eric, you mean we can have our show back?" Sorry. Because I'll have a guest and I'll just dive right in and ask like every question in the world. Because the thing is, I really want to know.
No apologies, buddy. No apologizing, because we're all here to help everybody, and I appreciate it, and I thank you for that.
No, so Jessica, do you think that's crazy where I want to go to the meteorites section? Because if I'm going to pick a spot, why not? Because I believe meteorites are the easiest cover-ups that any government can say. That wasn't a UFO. That was a meteorite, or that was a satellite. Those two are the easiest to hide, and the public will buy it. They'll just like
Well, because it's packaged for human consumption at that point. It's something that people can understand a little better. So, I actually have a ring that has a piece of I don't know how to pronounce it, the Campo de Cello meteorite from down in, I think it's South America. I love me some meteorites, y'all. So, but I think that would be a great little cover up right there. Meteorites.
Yeah. But UFOs are interesting because my brother, Dr. Wu, Rob met him. He could be a little crazy sometimes. He could be a little crazy. He asks the weirdest stuff in the world, but he's my brother. But since he's been staying right now in Fresno, and he's been showing me footages and stuff that lately he's just been seeing things in the sky that they just don't belong there. And, and he's smart. He's been in the military. He worked at a flight museum for years at a Boeing museum. And he would actually call the airports to find out if there's planes or not. And he has been seeing increased amount of lights in the sky. And he showed me, I'm like, oh, that is interesting. I know there's drones. We get that. There's a lot of drones, but there's still a certain distance that a drone can get to. Everybody thinks a drone could go super high in the sky. They could go high, but the footages he's showing me is they're real high. And some of them have a color. And there is a color with all these interviews I've been doing lately and all that. Orbs, ghosts, UFOs. One of the colors that's coming out a lot is the blue color. For whatever reason, a lot of people are saying blue. And I'm thinking to myself, is there something with the blue? Or, not everybody could be lying, right? When they're all mentioning blue color. Like this person didn't know that person said blue, or that person, they didn't watch that show. But Jessica, have you heard the blue color with this phenomenon?
I mean, it hadn't been like a big thing lately, but I mean, I've heard of it before, but I mean, I don't know. This is the first I've heard that it's like a big thing.
Well, the blue has been coming up a lot. And that's why I love doing the show, because then you can start putting clues together, right? I write down blue. Wow. 20 people have said blue. Only one person said red. And of course, the red color could be an eye. You're not going to see a lot of blue eyes out in the woods, red, yellow, certain colors.
I mean, we've seen blue orbs out there, just small ones, but
I've heard too. I've also heard too, not so much with the eye color, but with the orbs, from the guy I was talking to you guys about the orbs being perhaps vessels for aliens to patrol the area. I heard like a green orb was friendly, a blue orb was neutral, or red meant danger, and a yellow meant like scouting the area.
How I feel about that.
Now, again, I'm kind of like you, Jessica. I'm not going to sit there and label a color, because a yellow could be bad, a yellow could be good. We don't know these things, right? But I hear people they'll label things.
But write it down, right?
Write it down and
track it. And this is where data comes into play.
Rob, you do so much interviews, there might be a trend to that somewhat. I mean, you never know. Right?
Data is a big part of all research.
It is, because if we all know the answer, what are we doing here today?
Yes.
Nobody knows the answer. And I always hate well, you want to send out the expert Bigfoot hunters or the expert paranormal. No, sometimes people, it's not. It's not about expert. It's about being there at the right time at the right place.
And there's really no such thing as expert. If someone says they're an expert, I say, okay, I'll talk to you later, and I move on because I don't want to hear. I don't hear from the so-called experts.
Well, if somebody's such an expert, then why isn't there a Bigfoot in their backyard or something? You know, most of these stories you hear are from regular people that were there for other reasons. You know what? They're not experts, or is it just luck? Or I wonder. Sometimes I do wonder, right? I wonder this because if you're not there for anything, you're not there for paranormal, or you're just taking a walk. I feel that these things know you're no harm because you're not there for them. You might be easier to see them. But if somebody's there to hunt a Bigfoot, I feel, my opinion, that they have some kind of a medium thing that they know your harm. You know they're there for the wrong reason. You know, I've actually shown some videos during my paranormal news where there's people go out there with guns on purpose. And it's like, you know, why are you going out there to harm something you don't understand? If you have to have a weapon with that, don't get me wrong. I understand if you're going to be camping and stuff, you got to have weapons to protect yourself. But if you're going out there with weapons on purpose, you're never going to see nothing.
Well, it's about the intent, and what I think what you're referring to is the intent, because you know I'm just a lonely little female walking out in the woods by myself. I do carry a weapon on me a lot of times, and
Jessica is dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, I'm trained and dangerous. Okay, so but you know, we have serial killers hiding out in the woods where we go and stuff, so you got to be careful with that. But it's all about the intent behind it, and they can read your energy, and they can read the intent.
I believe that.
Animals can do the same. Humans can do the same. You know, you can be around somebody.
Dogs can smell you from miles away.
Yeah,
and you
absolutely.
think a Bigfoot can't smell you? I learned a lot from a guy named Ross Allison, who was on Chad Smith channel about like when you go into a paranormal investigation, you know, you ask the people who live there to you know, stay at a hotel, and he's like, why? If you really want to investigate, you got to keep the environment as normal as it was, so they can be, you know, to appear. If you ask the people who live there to gone, they might not show, but if they're there, they still might, you know. So if you go Bigfoot hunting, right, if you got like 10, 20 people with you, they're going to smell you from a miles away. Why would we even want to take a chance when there's a big, huge group? Because most of these sightings, I hate to tell people, usually it's one or two people. On average, I'm not saying big groups have anything, but on average, it's less than two people that see more of these paranormal stuff than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with that being said, Eric, we've got Jessica's got to get her kids here in a little bit, but what I like to finish a note on, I want a lot of our people out there like to hear about the woo. What's one of the best stories you've heard, maybe in the next 3 to 4 minutes, you've heard about the woo, and something that's really flipped your lid that you just can't get rid of? I know you probably got many because you do hang out with Dr. Wu, and I know he speaks with the dead. But you know, if you come up with something for our audience,
well, you know, we were doing a show one time, and the night that night before we did the show, I busted my ankle, like broken the back, and then that same night, my brother felt something, and he ripped something in his body, like this almost exact same time. And we're doing the show like, hey, but look at my ankle, I busted up, and he showed me that he busted his thing, and it's like, wow. I mean, what are the chances of us hurting the same spot almost at the exact same time? Is it because we're relative or and all that? Because he lived in the UK during that time, and the house is known to be haunted. He would get scratches on his legs, like 3 scratches, and he would show me his scratches. But the injuries that we would get sometimes would happen during the same time. I'm always asking myself, is it because we're brothers? Is it a DNA thing? Now, some people believe, I mean, I can't prove this, that, you know, aliens do probe. I hate the word probe, but it's just it always sounds so weird.
I've said pedo wrong several times.
But we've been visited at the same time, that same night, because our DNA are the same, that they're experimenting. I mean, And who am I say it's not? Because how do we get some injuries during the same night, the same, almost exact same time? And we didn't know until we're on the show. So it's not like none of it's pre-planned.
Interesting.
Yeah, very.
Wow.
You know, well, you hear that a lot. You hear about twins. They have certain kind of connection.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been hearing that cousins and DNA families, that there's a connection with UFOs being probed about during the certain about the same time. I mean, I can't, like I said, how can I prove it? It's hard to prove, but I think it's the strangest thing in the world. And then another time I ripped here, I had to go get this fixed. I ripped I forgot what you call that. And then at the same time, I told my brother, man, I'm sorry I'm late to the show. I just had to get this fixed. I got a rip. I just found out. I did an x-ray. And then at that same time, he showed me on his back 3 scratches.
Ooh.
It seems like it's happening when I get hurt. And it's like, and I asked myself, well, how did I rip this? I mean, I did nothing that was working out or anything that ripped it. And he's got the 3 scratches. Is it?
Wow. Maybe it's like an abduction kind of thing while you're sleeping. Yeah. You guys are mirroring each other.
I know. It's one of those things that, how do you prove it? It's not like you're going to put a camera on yourself and you're hoping you're going to get hurt. And then you find out, hey, I got hurt. You get hurt, But it seems like when we did get hurt, it's something major, like a rip or a break. And then, there's markings of scratches. Just weird that it's happening at the same time. And he's in the UK. Now I'm here in Seattle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That's crazy. That is really crazy. That was we're going to end it on that. That was awesome, Eric. That was awesome. And hey, Danny State, why don't you drop Eric's link out there? I don't have access to it. In fact, we need some mods. I want anybody out there, email Beyond BMR, because I got to get with some mods to help us out, drop us some links for our great guests. And Eric, where can we find you at, man? And I again appreciate you having you on.
Well, first of all, I'm actually going to be doing a live paranormal news show. I have it scheduled for 12, but like I said, that I'll probably do it right after we're done here. Give me 10, 15 minutes. So if we're going to end it now, so about 11:40. How about 11:40? I'm going to have my show. So if anybody wants to see an example of what I do, jump on over. And, like I said, we talk Bigfoot, paranormal. We show videos. We talk about it. And it's just an environment that we can feel comfortable and have fun with. And if you go there in the description, I have a TikTok channel. Of course, I finally got over 1,000 doing the live shows on TikTok. I have a Reddit page. Now, my Reddit page is called Gypsy Road. They're not telling me I have to change it. So I get to keep it. And I'm almost 1,000 on my Reddit page. And of course, Instagram, Facebook, like everybody else. Now, my Facebook, they made me change Gypsy Road too. That's why on my Facebook, it's called Journey into the Unknown, because I couldn't use Gypsy. They took it away from me. But,
censorship.
Yeah. It is. But you know what? I feel stronger being on than off. So I was willing to change, because if you let yourself get off, you're not helping out anybody, because the person is bigger than the name itself. So I don't have a problem that I had to change my name, because I feel like I'm bigger than my name or my channel. So and it's always a fun time. Sometimes Connor jumps on a lot. It depends on, I invite people. I invite anybody, whoever wants to do a paranormal news with me as my sidekick newscaster. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Sweet. That's awesome. There's nothing wrong with a little rebranding, Eric. I think we've all been there. I was just there recently.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I know it's just hard when you had it for 3-4 years,
It is.
Like, oh my God.
Well,
I understand.
Just like Bigfoot Michigan Rob is because I wanted to go with that. That's what when I had my Bigfoot encounter 4 years ago, I'm like, well, what should I name this? I mean, I never used YouTube. I had to make a handle. Then I'm thinking, well, I need somebody to look up my video. So I put, I'm Rob. I saw Bigfoot. I live in Michigan. And I haven't been able to get rid of the handle since. I'm just Bigfoot
BMR.
BMI. So yeah, now it's
That's
BMR.
tough, man. I like it.
And thank you for letting me take over your show. Let me
anytime. Now you can pay me and Jessica, because usually it goes the other way around, right? Usually we pay our guests. So we'll get that back from you, my friend. Just kidding. It was awesome having you on.
I appreciate
It
it.
was awesome. Super fun.
Thanks to everybody in chat. And let me tell you, tomorrow, Good Friday, right? Jessica Jones, Remote View Investigations, 8 Central.
Oh.
I'm just going to say one thing. It's LBL.
Hold on. 8 a.m., 8 p.m.
8 Central.
It's 9 Eastern. So I'm over here in Georgia.
9 Eastern, 8 Central.
9 Eastern. Yeah, I remote viewed the beast of the Land Between the Lakes.
Yes.
And the attack.
Yes.
It may or may not be more than one attack, actually. So we're going to look into that. Yeah.
Don't worry, Jessica. When I get that show on Discovery Plus, you're on it.
So
yeah. Heck yeah. I'm there.
Everybody subscribe to Paranormal Highway. Subscribe to the Cryptid Huntress.
Thank you.
Subscribe to Bigfoot Michigan Rob. And, of course, our flagship, Texas Front Porch. We love you all. Have a great weekend. Eric, once again, it's been a pleasure. Jessica, thanks for hanging out with me. Everybody, until next time.
For sure.
We're out. If I can find the button like text would traditionally say. All right. Here we go.
Are we off?